One girl won, two lost. And the families of the losing students got mad. But instead of yelling at the ref or whatever angry sports parents do these days, they asked the state of Utah to investigate the winning student's gender.
A truly nutty story out of the state of Utah here.
Today, at a state legislative committee hearing, a lawmaker asked, so how does this whole thing work? Turns out state-sanctioned investigations of a teen's gender involve a whole lot of bureaucracy.
A parent who has a complaint will go to their school first. And then that parent calls us, or a school, or the school of the parent calls us and submits the complaint. That's what triggers the process. Then that's when we begin to do our research and our investigations. And just like in a court, the student is eligible to continue to compete until it's adjudicated.
So they're investigating female athletes just like in a court.
Now let's back up for a second and go over just went into this utterly preposterous decision. The investigation occurred after the parents of girls who won second and third place submitted a complaint through the UHSAA questioning whether the winner was assigned female at birth. UHSAA officials confirmed the female athlete was eligible by checking student records from her current year all the way back to kindergarten. It came after the parents of the second and third place finishers filed a complaint with the UHSAA, which oversees high school sports in the state. The girl won first place in a competition last year, quote, by a wide margin. School officials never told the winning student and her family about the review of her student file to keep the matter private, said David Spatafor, the spokesperson for the Utah High School Activities Association. So you have someone that won, right? And then on the other side of the coin, you have parents who will not accept defeat because there is this installation of fear, predominantly driven by right-wing media, to create a problem that simply does not exist.
Barbells, dumbbells, and they go, and she went like this, and she got a break. Stood for 11 years. And her mother and father are screaming, you got it. You got it, darling. I'm so proud of my girl. Whoa.
The fact is, this is who Republicans have followed.
This important piece of legislation will ensure that young girls in Mississippi have a fair, level playing field in public school sports.
As a candidate, Donald Trump promised to protect gay, lesbian, and transgender rights. But today, a sudden reversal. The president surprising even his own top advisors with a major change in military policy announced via Twitter. Please be advised, he declared, the United States government will not accept or allow transgender individuals to serve in any capacity in the U.S. military.
At least 12 Republican-led states, including Utah, have passed laws banning transgender women or girls in sports. Supporters of the ban say transgender girls have an unfair advantage because they were born as stronger males and could deny girls places on sports teams.
And the student does not know. And the student, to our knowledge, never did know. The school checked their records. They said, based on our records, there isn't a question. The school went back to kindergarten, and she'd always been a female.
I should note that before the High School Activities Association representative gave that answer, he assured the committee that he would protect the athlete's identity by excluding her name, school, and her sport. A real favor for her protection, as his organization looks through her records without her knowledge.
There have been almost no cases of potential competitive advantages in K-12 sports in states passing the bans, including Utah. The state's ban is being challenged in state court. A quick update on that. Axios reported a state judge temporarily blocked Utah's controversial law that bars transgender girls from competing in school sports matching their gender identity, saying it is plainly unfavorable treatment. Judge Keith Kelly said the ban singles out transgender girls and categorically bars them from competing on girls' sports teams. At the same time, other girls are free to compete. This is plainly unfavorable treatment. Thus, plaintiffs identify and live as girls, interact with others as girls, and are taking medication to prevent them from going through male puberty. But the ban does not treat them as girls, the judge added. The judge also said the plaintiffs have also shown that the ban likely violates an equal protection clause within the Utah Constitution.
To play. I'm not allowed to play because I'm transgender. I don't think I deserve to be discriminated against. I mean, I'm just trying to have fun and find a hobby for me and stay in shape. I thought that's what we wanted our kids in America to do. People are looked at differently because of what people say they are, but not who they are. And that's not the way it should be.
In Utah, this is the precedent Republicans like to set. The association often gets complaints, including when an athlete doesn't look feminine enough, adding that it looks into each one. In this case, the school did an initial review of the winning student's high school record and saw, once again, she was registered as female.
So they investigated the student, again, without her knowledge, and they asked for her records from the time she was 5 years old. All because the parents of the athletes she beat, fair and square, because they complained. That is how this kind of thing works. And given Utah's new law against transgender girls in sports, this may be only the beginning. This association representative said the group often gets complaints, quote, when an athlete doesn't look feminine enough. The law is a subject of ongoing legal battles. A district court judge is expected to decide on whether to temporarily block this anti-trans law in the coming weeks. But in the meantime, the Utah High School Activities Association promises to follow this anti-trans law as closely as possible, secretly investigating one kindergarten finger painting at a time.
If you think this is ridiculous, that's because it is. There are many things that should take precedent, and here's just a few. Instead of attacking an already marginalized community, how about passing legislation and focusing on the planet dying? We have seen it in Dallas. We have seen the heat wave. We have seen rivers drying up. How about addressing that? Could be a good idea. How about addressing a twice impeached president who's a security threat? Might be wise to do that too. But instead, we focus on trans kids. The priorities in this country for profit, driven by fear, are mind-numbing.